What up, Canes fan? It is Sunday, and so we, of course, are going to be doing our Gridiron Grandmasters. And since we've still got 4 weeks until the Alabama game, I'm going to start with the bowl game from last year. It's going to be very interesting, I think, to look at this from a strategic standpoint rather than just looking at the score, because obviously we know how the score turned out. We know there were injuries, all of that fun stuff, or not so fun stuff. But the strategy, at least from the offensive side of the game for this bowl game, was both really terrible and at times really brilliant. And hopefully it gives us a ground, a foundation to look at this season and get really excited about our Hurricanes. So as we do, we're going to start with our first drive, which was after Oklahoma State marched down the field and score in the very first quarter. And we start with this design quarterback run from De'Ara King, goes for 2 yards, sets up the QB draw game for the rest of the game, kind of. Now, next play, Cameron gets the ball in the backfield, 1 yard loss. So we obviously aren't starting off really well. So then on third down, we have this motion and pass to Cam in the flat, and he takes it and does some great work out in the flat and space, gets 13 yards for a first down. Notice that all of these are either runs kind of right at the gut or passes behind the line of scrimmage. And this is the kind of the setup that Rhett Lashley is coming out with to attack Oklahoma State's defense, which is really not to attack it at all. It's to just go around it. So first down, throws incomplete to Mark Pope. Remember that phrase. It's going to come up again in this game. 2nd and 10. We run on the outside again, behind the line of scrimmage, not attacking the middle of the field at all, except with King so far. And, I mean, the drive is going well. We've got 8 yards on a run play off the edge, but nothing is going at the middle. So here, 3rd and 2, fake up the gut, but it ends up being an option play out the outside, and we get no push on the line. King gets hit for a loss, 1 yard. And we end up having to punt on 4th and 3 at the Miami 43. So we punted off. What happens? Defense gives up another touchdown, 14-0 in the first quarter. So we come out with play action, pretending to attack the center of the line, but we end up throwing it to Brevin Jordan in the flat off the play action. He does good work with it, 16 yards. And again, we've got all these passes behind the line. Once again, we've got another pass behind the line, this time to Mike Harley. It was basically a screen pass. He gets 4 yards off of it. And this is our second drive. And now we've already covered 20 yards in 2 plays. We're actually making really good ground. Next play, another screen pass. Now this time 1 yard. Looks like Oklahoma State's actually figuring out our offensive plan, which was not to attack the heart of this defense. So now 3rd and 5. King tries to take it himself for 3 yards. Again, the only time we ever attack the heart of the defense, at least initially, is by trying to go right up the gut, only with King, when we spread everybody else out and hopefully give them enough open lanes to run through. But quite honestly, our line couldn't get it done. They need more power football, in my opinion, and the yards speak for themselves. So here we are, 4th and 2, down 14-0 in the first quarter. And what do? We go for it. Some of you might remember this play. King ends up rolling to his right, passing deep to Brevin Jordan. Was he interfered with by Christian Holmes? Probably. But the pass was a little behind him. It wasn't King's first look. And Christian Holmes gets credit, quote unquote, for the PBU. And we turn it over on downs right around the 50-yard line for our second drive. So this is the time for us to take a look at my first principle here, the chess principle of a bad bishop versus good knight. What does this mean? This means that in chess, the two pieces, bishop and knight, seem similar. They are considered the same in a lot of ways in terms of value, but they move differently. So the bishop here is stuck. The bishop can't move anywhere because bishops only move a very specific way. He can't move forward because he's blocked in by his own pieces, and the only thing he can do is retreat, and he needs a lot of space to move. And that's how bishops work. Knights, on the other hand, similar setup here, and the knight loves having very compressed positions, and within 3 moves can basically checkmate the king and then the entire game, not even an issue. Like there's no way to stop this knight from doing what he wants to do, because this is the type of setup that he likes. This is just purely setting up your pieces in the best way possible. And it's something that you see a lot in chess. Well, you also see it in football. In this particular play, when we look at the 4th and 2 play, we've got two people that I've highlighted here, and you can't really tell from the screen what their numbers are, but I can tell you what they are. We've got our bishop here, our receiver, and it's D. Wiggins, who's lined up in the slot. On the other side, in the other slot, we've got Brevin Jordan, who I would consider a knight. So for those of you who are keeping track at home, if we want to have a little cheat sheet or whatnot, quite often the players relate to specific pieces on the field. So this is what we've got going for us. And in this particular play, you would think, just from the example I showed before, a bishop likes open spaces, a lot of space to run. D. Wiggins runs in a straight line. That's what he does. Brevin Jordan, he can run deep, but he's a big physical guy, and he likes these cramped spaces where he can basically muscle his way and be more athletic than everybody else in small spaces. All right. So in this particular play, Lashley is putting Mark Pope in motion to see what kind of defense they're running, maybe get the defense to commit to Pope a little bit. And I'll move forward to the next spot because this is the kind of play that's actually drawn up. Oklahoma State is set up. They've got kind of all these guys short because they know it's 4th and 2. They're not stupid. They know that there's just the line to gain. And here we've got Wiggins still in blue, trying to work his way across a linebacker who's got him completely locked up because Wiggins is not strong. The man, he's a stick figure. He's blazing speed and nothing else, at least when it comes to going one-on-one with a linebacker. But the play runs him across his face, the linebacker's face, and Brevin Jordan's the one who has to run deep, and he's being guarded by a safety who is smaller than him, but quick and can catch up to him. Had we flipped these two guys, had we put the knight in position to do what knights do best and the bishop in a position to do what bishops do best, probably, this is a better target for King. And as you can see, King looks to be ready to throw, but he isn't. He ends up having to reset and throw it deep to Brevin Jordan. And that time that he has to reset, the safety is able to recover, and we get nothing for it. Sure, we should have gotten bailed out by the refs, but in general, that play design was perfect, but the pieces were in the wrong position. And I don't care how well you set up a setup, in chess or in football, if you don't put the pieces in the right place to win, you're not maximizing your potential, and it showed there. And of course, we give the ball back, and our defense gives up yet another touchdown because that's what we did this game. And, that'll be next week's rant. But anyway, we get the ball back, and here we go again. We've got this setup, again, trying to keep it nice and wide, and King throws basically another screen pass to Brevin Jordan for 13 yards. So the prior play, the 4th down, just want to point out, that was the first play that was designed, in my opinion, to throw into the heart of the Oklahoma State University defense. And like I said, we didn't put our pieces in the best spots to succeed. Everything else, wide screens, whatever. I mean, hey, it works, plus 13 yards. We get another first down. We're moving, we're cooking. What do? We do a fake. Well, it's not a fake screen. He throws a screen pass, but he throws it back to Brevin, who can then throw it to De'Ara King out wide. Great play design, amazing play design following all of the screens that we've been using, and it completely fools Oklahoma State, but our linemen can't block, so we get 15 yards out of it instead of a touchdown, which, fine. But if you're going to put De'Ara King in harm's way by having him get tackled 20 yards downfield, you need to have linemen that are a little more athletic. These are why the freshmen I like seeing coming in, basketball players, guys who are very, very quick and agile and can be very strong with Coach Feely. They're going to be the future, because then plays like this are going to be game breakers. Anyway, we do get another first down. So then we decide to run a fake, and off of the basically QB fake to the right, this allows Chaney to get downfield. Good blocking by the line, which allows him to get just beyond the defense. King barely gets that pass beyond the defense, and he gets 27 yards to Don Chaney for another first down. And now Oklahoma State 13-yard line. Again, 3 plays averaging over 10 yards every play. We're crushing this drive. So then we run right at the defense. But again, with King only, not with anybody else. This is so far anyway. And now it's the start of the second quarter, but still, for the entire game so far, we have not run the ball at this defense. And we have not thrown the ball really at this defense. We've either gone deep or we've gone wide. And throwing deep to Mark Pope honestly doesn't really count. So then this one, a play action dive up the middle, something that we haven't done the entire game. Oklahoma State falls for it anyway. And King hits Brevin Jordan for a beautiful pass for 10 yards. And we finally get on the board to start the second quarter. So 21-7. We get that TD on the board, and we get the ball back, and our defense finally puts up a stop. We kind of feed off of each other a little bit. So first play of really the second quarter drive to kind of shift into the middle game here. And what do? We actually run the ball directly at the line. Don Chaney breaks it and goes 27 yards. So it's just, so shockingly, once we actually start running the ball at them, we do really well. So the next pass that we've got out there, we do another play action to the halfback, trying to keep forcing the dive play, which again, we've run one time with a halfback, and then we try to float it across to D. Wiggins. And again, he's just not in a position to succeed. He's only going about 10 yards deep. He's trying to beat traffic, basically, and he's just not good in traffic. He's a bishop. Bishops want open fields. That's just how it works. So next play, King doesn't go anywhere. Again, they're focusing on basically the two things we're bringing to the table, which is either screens or dives. So then we get bailed out. We've got a pass. It was incomplete, but it was a deep pass because it was 3rd and 12, and we have to try and get there. And fortunately, the OK State guy wasn't ready for Harley and just decided to grab him instead of giving up a big play, I guess. I mean, again, this point in the game, nothing like that is really, nothing over 10 yards has really threatened this defense, but hey, we'll take it. So we keep the play running. We're actually kind of building momentum in that we're still hanging tough, even though we were down 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. We run the ball with Cam, shockingly, not at the line. We run him off tackle. He gets a yard, fights for a yard, really. So then we go the same exact formation, run it to the line. And this time we have King run off tackle. He gets 6 yards. Okay, maybe. I mean, it's the first time we've had King really run outside besides the very first drive for a loss. So then 3rd and 3, at least we have a manageable down and distance. We hit Harley for 18 yards for a first down. Where does the pass go? Past the line of scrimmage, out into the flat, deep. I mean, it was great. It was such a great regular passing play that we finally went with, and OK State left it open. It makes you wonder how much of this was open earlier in the game when we were doing design screens and whatnot. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking out loud here. But we get another pass to Harley. This time, again, screen pass, because, of course, we can't throw it downfield too many times. That would just, get them too comfortable with playing deep and playing normal defense. So we get down all the way to the 9-yard line. We've got this formation here, pass to Will Mallory. We do another play action throw to the tight end move, which worked well the drive before with Brevin. This time, OK State actually adjusts. They managed to lock it down and get only a couple yards, but we still get the first down. 2nd and 1, not a bad play call in that position. So now we try to throw a bunch of different looks at him. We've got a bunch of people inside the box, and we've got De'Ara King who runs for a touchdown, but it gets called back because Ja'Kai decided to hold. But the fake was all going to the right, all, again, dive up the middle. The area of the field that you expect to be able to attack the center of the line, we didn't. We tried to run off tackle, and our left guard decided that he had to try and grab someone because he wasn't quick enough to get to the outside and just seal it for King so he could walk into the end zone. So we wipe off this touchdown. We lose 8 yards because of the holding penalty, and then we decided to run another screen play to Harley. Maybe it was meant to be another trick. I don't know, but they considered it a run because there was a backward pass. And 2nd and goal, King has to scramble for the first time, really all game, that he has to actually run for it instead of it being a design run. And there was defensive holding by OK State, but we know what happens here. Derek tears his ACL. So we go from 2 plays before having a touchdown run for it and just being done and grabbing momentum, 14-21, coming back strong, to we lose our starting quarterback for the rest of the game for the entire offseason, and hopefully he'll be back for Alabama. But again, there was nothing there in the heart of the defense, so he had to run around it. And by trying to run at angles, put him in a bad position, his knee did not go well even before it got hit by the lineman. So what do? We come back, second goal from the 5-yard line. We're still in position to score because he gets to the 5-yard line with the holding penalty. We bring in our backup, and Nkosi throws an incomplete pass to Brevin Jordan. It was another play-action pass to Brevin. It was the same exact play that we used to score a touchdown on, well, not the first time, but our first touchdown of the game earlier in the second quarter. This brings me to my middle game. When you have opportunities to capitalize, you have to capitalize on them. Yeah, maybe we ended up with a field goal after this anyway, but the missed win is something where it happens early enough in the game where maybe you can recover from it, but you're giving away just opportunities. They literally count this in chess. And so in this particular case, we've got a knight here. You could see where he was moving. He takes another piece. He takes one rook, and the computer tells the player afterwards, you should have taken this other rook. Why? It's the same exact piece. It should mean nothing in terms of differential. But in this particular situation, because he didn't do that, all this player had to do on the other side in white, all he had to do was move his piece over one, and he ends up taking out the other guy's queen, the most powerful piece, which kind of is what happened in the game. We lost our most powerful piece in De'Ara King. And it could have been avoided had we executed better, had the proper decision been made at that time. Now, a little bit of this is that Nkosi is cold. He literally has not thrown any passes in game in like 2 months, and he's trying to make a play right out of the gate. But come on, man. Off the play action, you can see right here that everyone at Oklahoma State bites on the run again. This is the same play that they bid on the drive before, and they're stuck. They're not anywhere on the field. Brevin's off the corner of the screen. That's how deep he is behind them. All Nkosi has to do is get that ball over the top, and this is a touchdown. And so we go to the next screen, and you can even see all of the open space that Brevin has here. This is the win. And the ball is there. It's low. The guy who's all the way off the ground, he still is hitting the ball far lower than it needs to be. That ball should be going over the ref's head. It doesn't have to be thrown hard. It just has to be high and down the middle. But no, that's what we call a missed win, people. So 3rd and goal, another incomplete pass, and we have to settle for the field goal. Now the pass itself was basically a rollout into the flat, which really had no shot for us to get a touchdown out of it anyway. It was, I would say it's a broken play, but either way, it was not as aggressive. It wasn't off the play action. It wasn't over the linebackers. It looked like Lashley was like, well, if we can't make that pass over the top when all the linebackers are biting up, then we're just going to have to stick with what works, which is throw behind the line of scrimmage. So we give it away. We settle for a field goal. Defense does hold again, and we get the ball back with a minute left in the second because somebody fumbled in the meantime. Sorry, Harley. That one hurt as well. But we've got, what do we got to try and do our 2-minute drill? We've got a 16-yard pass to Chaney because we throw behind the line of scrimmage, of course. And he gets it out in the flat, and he runs 16 yards to get from our 10-yard line to the 26. We've still got 74 yards to go and only about a minute left. So then we've got incomplete pass deep to Wiggins, complete pass behind the line to Mark Pope for 2 yards with a minute left. So then we have 3rd and 8, and we complete the pass for 4 yards to Harley. You guessed it. It was a short pass. Now, this one at least went past the line of scrimmage. But again, we're not being aggressive. None of the passes are going in the middle of the field. They're all to the outside because apparently Oklahoma State had too tough a defense for us to even test them in the middle. Or when we did try to test them in the middle, our receivers weren't able to get open. Neither one is a good sign for next year unless we switch up the approach, the strategic outlook. I always say all that. We come back. It's the beginning of the second half because we gave them the ball to start. And what do? 3 yards, we run with Cheney up the middle. You know why? Because we don't really have King to be doing these dive plays anymore. So now we give the ball to our running backs. Okay, Cheney gets 3 yards. Next play, tries to throw it to Mark Pope off of play action. Actually, it was that's what it was. This was the flea flicker. He would go off with flea flicker after running that dive play, throw it to Mark Pope, who didn't even fight for the ball. Okay, fine. But at least we're attacking the middle. We come out in the second half. It looks like Lashley figured out that, hey, we're not testing these guys enough in the middle. Let's go after them and see what we can get. So unfortunately, the trick play didn't work there. Again, you got your backup quarterback and you've got Pope, who just he's too much in his head. So then off of the that play, we get 5 yards for free from Oklahoma State, which is good because we only needed now only 2 yards on 3rd and 2. He completes it to Will Mallory. And a pass that goes across the line of scrimmage. Not deep, unfortunately, but this is Mallory coming across the line from his tight end position and getting that kind of open space there for 6 yards. Not a bad play call again on 3rd and 2, much easier than 3rd and 7. So next play call. We actually run a fake screen, which I love, and Brevin Jordan leaks down the field 27 yards. And we're actually utilizing the fact that Nkosi can throw it deeper, I think, and more accurately deep, and also running off of all the stuff that we did in the first half. So it seems to be coming together. Why it had to take an entire half, I don't know, but at least Lashley's letting it out a little bit more. Now we've got another pass, again, attacking the middle of the field, but it's to D. Wiggins. He's still not the best player to be putting in that position. He does not do well in those scenarios. But again, when you're the new offensive coordinator and you have no spring, you go with the guys that you have. Hopefully this year that'll change, and we'll put guys in places where it actually suits their skill set. So again, hey, we've seen this movie before. Another incomplete pass to D. Wiggins. This time it was actually wide, and he was trying to take that screen. Nothing. 23, or we're still on the 23-yard line, 3rd and 10. Incomplete to Keyshawn Smith. This one was kind of a scramble, and he had to throw it deep to Keyshawn, but Keyshawn went up and caught the ball. He just was out of bounds. So he settled for a field goal. But coming out, we're much more aggressive. Most of the passes are across the line, and we're using these formations to make Oklahoma State think that we're playing short and playing behind the line some more, and we're taking it to them. Still got us 3 points. We're within a touchdown and 2-point conversion now, and we get the ball back in the 3rd, and Pope gets a pass. Now, out in the flat, was off of a rollout. But hey, I will take any catch that our receivers can do and generate 12 yards out of. That's great. So then we follow it up. Cheney runs for 9 yards, attacking the line because he is a monster. We're actually, driving it at these guys. And our line's doing a lot better with the run blocking. So then we try to throw to Harley. This pass, again, deep. They said it was broken up. Fine, but we're attacking center of the field. Love it. On 3rd and 1, our line does not give it to us. This is where we needed to see the big uglies making that push. They finally get a few opportunities. They got a running back. They're trying to actually do the thing. No gain. So 4th and 1 on the 41. We go for it anyway, and they get not really any more of a push than they did before, but Cam pushes enough on his own to get that first down. And this is where Rhett says basically, Rhett doesn't give a damn. And I love Rhett Lashley for this, because if it's 4th and short, we need to be able to win those tough yards. And that's what I expect from our line this year. If we don't win these tough yards this year, then I'm officially done with this class of linemen, and I'm waiting for the freshmen to come up and start actually doing what they do. Because with Justice as the line coach and Lashley as the offensive coordinator, they're going to get plenty of opportunities to maul some people and get some yardage. And if they're not strong enough to do it, it's not because Feely isn't putting them in a position. They just need to be better than the other side. Anyway, so we keep going. This time, Coatsy scrambles. This was not a planned call. It was a scramble. But because of that, this time, Cam gives us a 42-yard run right down the gut. We missed the 2-point conversion, even though I thought Brevin made it in. They said he was short. Fine. Another screen pass. But 42 yards right at the gut. It's amazing what happens when you actually attack the middle of the field and you give your line a chance to succeed. Lashley did it 4 times in this drive, and it pays off big time. We get the ball back. we allow a field goal, but it's the first points that we've allowed to OK State since the first quarter. So, the defense tightens up a bit after having an atrocious start. So then we've got a pass out in the flat. Harley takes it and runs with it because he does good shit with it. That's why I'm really excited for his season this year, because he takes what could be a small gain and he really tries to put all the effort in to get as much yardage as possible. And he does it there, 20 yards. So then we get Wiggins in the action and we get him throwing out there. Now, all he had to do was catch it and basically hold on to it, and he did. Awesome. He didn't really get much yardage after the catch, but that's okay, because now it's 2nd and 3. This one, this is when Kosi completely screws us, because it's supposed to be a quote-unquote option play, but he's really just supposed to hand it off. He's supposed to hand it off to the running back, and he doesn't. He pulls for some reason. The ball was flying. We give it to them, and they score. Our second turnover of the day, and it leads to 7 points. It's killer. Absolutely killer. So what do we do when we get the ball back? It's fourth quarter. We're down 12 points. We run basically an end around, play action fake. We attack the line. Mark Pope runs around to the outside. Not only does he get downfield for 12 yards, there's also a personal foul call on OK State. So we're doing really well there, especially off of, again, that dive action. But it makes a big difference when you've got 42 yards down. We've got almost 100 yards rushing between the tackles. So it wasn't bad. They were chunk plays. They weren't consistent. So we've got another 27 yards here. And then we've got an incomplete pass to Brevin off the play action. This one, again, we're trying to get Brevin into space, and he just didn't hold on to it. They were very aggressive in trying to attack the ball, and he didn't secure it. So then here we've got motion out wide and a pass to Harley, but again, right in the heart of the defense. Love it. 8 yards, easy. All Harley has to do is hold on to the ball, and it's now all of a sudden 3rd and 2 instead of trying to pass behind the line. So then we've got this setup here where we've got stacked wide receivers, and this is something that 365 Canes looked at really well, and I thought it was a beautiful breakdown of why this sequence works. 3rd and 2, we decide to run QB power, basically, with Nkosi Perry. And you're like, why the hell would you do that? Doesn't go anywhere, loses a yard. What was the point of that? Because Brett had no intention of punting it on 4th and 3. He said, we're doing it again. This time it was a fake QB power, and he threw right over the top to Will Mallory for 44 yards, and we're right there in it, about to score a touchdown. Beautiful play design, very gutsy call to do it there. Then we come out in the Wildcat, or what we call the Wild Cam action, and he runs for 1 yard. He basically tries to dive over the right guard there, gets close. He was on the 2 yard, he gets to the 1 yard line. Then the very next play, we get the same exact setup, but Kosi is in over center instead of Cam. And this time he pretends to run again, and he floats it over top, a beautiful pass to Brevin in the end zone. And we get the kick, and we're down 5. Of course, our defense isn't able to stop them now because the floodgates have opened up. It's the fourth quarter. Why would we step up at this time? And that's not on the players. That's really on Blake Baker. I hate that guy. Anyway, we'll talk about him next week. We get the ball back, down 11 again. And here we go. We start off with pass behind the line to Brevin Jordan. And then he scrambles for 12 yards. And the reason why he scrambles is because he tries the same kind of play action fake to see if anybody will go for the QB dive, and nobody does. They all bail out. They bail out. They're trying to cover everyone out of the backfield, and our line can cover most of the time. They can block, 3 guys, 4 guys blitzing, so there's wide open space for Nkosi. We try to run this stuff this year with King. I think we're looking at 20 yards easy off of these types of plays, so I definitely expect to see them more this year. So here we've got players in motion, and we've actually got a run to Brevin Jordan off of a play fake. So it only goes for 1 yard. I didn't really like the design because the play fake was to the left, and then you hand it off to Brevin to the left. So you're basically expecting your running back to be more like a fullback and block for Brevin Jordan. I think there's ways you could tweak that play, and it'll be really beneficial this year. But what do I know? So 2nd and 9 on the 40, he takes a sack. And this one, he was trying to, again, try to do some sort of play action, something special, basically, and they really didn't need to. We just needed to stick with attack the middle of the field, try and get small chunks so it's not 3rd and 16. We go 5 wide. He completes it to Mallory for 15 yards because Will didn't know where the first down marker is. Hopefully this year he'll have that awareness to know exactly where he is. All he has to do is dive forward as soon as he catches it. It's okay because on 4th and 1, we stack it a little bit in terms of the line here. And we run it with Don Chaney, and I really don't think we got the first down here. But hey, again, Chaney at least didn't give up. The refs gave us the benefit of the doubt, which I thought I'd never say. We get another first down on this quite long. I mean, this is taking 4 or 5 minutes for us to go 7 plays. So pass to Cameron Harris, 25 yards, a beautiful pass to Cameron Harris, and an even better catch, which he was double covered. I mean, this was just insane, but he was trying to roll out instead of, again, trying to just run with it. He's a pass-first quarterback. He makes the play. I can't fault him for it. So he's actually making it, at this point anyway, and Kosey's making the players around him better, just not the way they're used to. But hey, Cam makes a big catch. We pass to Brevin Jordan to the 15-yard line. We've got now out of the last 4 plays, 3 first downs. Good stuff. And then Chaney runs for 10 yards for another first down. Oklahoma State 5-yard line. He tacks off tackle, kind of. It's really a power play. And Chaney does a good job. The line does a good job. They like this kind of football. I know they do because, again, they're not athletic types. They are do that 15, 20 times a game. Anyway, enough soapbox. We then throw a screen pass. What else would we do to get a few yards? And we hit Marshall Few with the run for 2-point conversion. And we're down 3. And this is great. 5.5 minutes left in the 4th. This is where we just don't show up. And I know Better Duck was asking about this. This is what happens, all right? Everybody kind of can see the plays. But this is what the play call looked like. Perry comes out and he throws an incomplete pass to Will Mallory. It's deep. It's, again, a fake screen throw over the top. Not a bad play. Better coverage from Oklahoma State this time because your gimmick plays only work really once, if you're lucky, twice a game. Well, this is the second time we've run it. Doesn't work this time. Also, Will never even saw the ball. It was lost in lights. It landed a couple yards away from him, and he never even saw it in the air. Fine. Second down. Incomplete pass to John Chaney. Why? Because he's trying to throw a screen. Jalen Knighton is. He's injured. He doesn't make that kind of pat or catch all the time. He's a power back. Okay. 3rd and 10. Complete, tries to get it to Brevin Jordan, the guy you want to throw it to, but it's broken up by Thomas Harper, right over the gut. Now, here's my question to you. 3 plays in, why is this not the second or third time we're trying to attack the middle of the field? Instead, it's a pass off of a fake screen and then an actual screen pass out the backfield. And finally, we try to throw it down the middle, and they only have to defend 1 play like that with Brevin Jordan instead of 3. That, to me, speaks to Lashley's lack of confidence in us attacking the middle of the field, even though it worked well in the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter. But we get the ball back. We get the ball back with enough time to do some damage because our defense really did lock down when we really needed them in that 1 clutch possession. We get the ball back with 3 minutes. Perry runs for 2 yards. It's a designed run. Why? Because they're trying to set up, again, the play action throw over the top. They're trying to make people think that they're going to be doing that. Think it's a good call because we have 3 minutes to burn. It's about getting into field goal range. You have Jose Borregales who can kick it 60 yards. All you need to do is get to the 50-yard line. You're at the 32, and he tries to throw to D. Wiggins. It's a little out wide. Wiggins doesn't fight for the ball. Again, kind of a crowded area of the field. He doesn't make the play. So 3rd and 8, what do we do? Same exact formation. We throw the same exact play, but this time we throw it to Brevin Jordan, who's a little closer, more physical. Not only does he make the catch, he also runs over or runs past a few other defenders and gets 16 yards out of it. Now we're on the Miami 48. All we have to do is get past the 50-yard line. Really, this is where we're at. First down, we're up on the line, and we're like, okay, Kosey, make it happen. What's the play call? Or rather, what's the decision? The decision is to throw the ball to Mark Pope. And that's all I can really say. Like, this is the same pass that happened earlier in the game. The first time when King threw it to him, Pope didn't even try. He didn't even attempt to get the ball. This time, it's Perry throwing. He's got a better long ball accuracy. He hits him in the hands. Okay, let me just show you something that I think Perry fell into. And to be fair, I think Lashley left it out there just in case. In the end game, There are people that will go for the win when really they should just be going for the tie. All we needed to do is get into field goal range. In chess, you've got this setup. It's even on all sides. The player should end up in a tie because you can do that in chess. Well, in this particular case, the player who has black decides with his bishop to attack the pawn and pick up a piece, and maybe he'll win. Well, what ends up happening is that the other side can easily trap him with the other pawn, and yeah, maybe he'll lose 2 pawns for a bishop. In the chess world, that's an advantage to white, and that's what happens. So just to show you what that kind of looks like, it's considered a mistake. White basically takes over the game and basically takes the bishop, no problem. Black ends up losing the game about 4 turns later. Now you'd say, okay, whatever. People make mistakes all the time. This is not a big deal. This particular game that I'm showing you is from the World Championships where Bobby Fischer lost the very first game because he decided to go for the win instead of just trying to get the safe bet, go for the tie so you can live to fight another day. Now, being Bobby Fischer, he had a lot more opportunities. He ended up being world champion. But the very first game, this is what he decided to do. He decided to be too aggressive. So even the world champions can do this stuff in chess. This was not like a random game. This was the most famous blunder in world championship history. And it was because of this principle. Well, guess what Nkosi tried to do? He decided to go deep, one-on-one. It looks good. I mean, this is one-on-one coverage with your fast receiver. He can see the ball, the defender can't. And if you take a look, the ball is up really high. And when I say that, I mean there's plenty of time for Mark to get under it, to see where it is. He's not out of control. He's got every opportunity to succeed. But we know what happened. Here, it's literally bouncing off of his hands. He hasn't secured it yet. It's already out before the defender even touches him. But that's because you're putting Pope in a position to try and win you the game when you don't need to win the game there. Yes, would it be great? Yes. But what you had there was you had momentum. You had momentum from playing in the middle of the field by throwing to Brevin Jordan, by keeping it simple and keeping it contained. And all you needed to do was get a few more yards. Instead, after that, everything falls off. He tries to throw to Don Chaney out of the backfield, as you do, because that's what we've been doing all game. Again, that's the safe bet. But again, Chaney, that's a Rooster move. If Rooster gets that there, he might be doing more with it. Chaney is a good person as well, but you're not putting him in a position to succeed because you've been running the same play all game, as we've seen. Oklahoma State's ready for it. So then we go to 3rd and 9, and Perry's there. And what does he do? He incomplete passes to Brevin Jordan, who's trying to throw it to Brevin, again, in the middle of the field. But this was the same exact pass that you just had before. So I'm not saying that. I just don't think that Nkosi was able to bring the best out of his guys. You know, if Nkosi knows that he's going to be going to Mark Pope at all during that drive, you know that he's like, Mark, this is your time to shine. You're going to win us this game right now. It didn't happen. So then he's like trying to have to go back in the huddle. Okay, we're going to just dump it off to Chaney. Chaney, you got to make something happen out of the backfield because we don't have a lot of space to work with. You know, Jordan, you're going to go into the NFL and play with the Texans. Not that he knew that, but we knew he was going in the NFL. You got to make the big NFL star play. He drops the ball. Well, it's not a drop. He gets defended well, but he doesn't really fight through it. I'm not saying these are anybody's individual faults. It's just that the leadership quality moment was there, and Nkosi couldn't step up to it. And had we had Derek King in here, maybe it's a different story. Maybe. The play calling, it's fine. You know, here's my thing. On 4th and 9, you run guy to the left. I believe it was Chaney. And then you throw to Michael Redding, the third on the right for 6 yards to the Oklahoma State 45. Here's my only thing with this, and then we'll call it here. You get this play on 1st down. You get this play on 2nd down. And not only are we talking about potentially getting in field goal position where you could kick a 62, 63-yarder to try and tie up the game. You might even get a 1st down if you run this play multiple times. But you decided to finally run it to someone who's not named Wiggins or Pope, and all of a sudden he gets 6 yards, but it's 4th and 9. You put him in a position where he couldn't succeed unless he was Superman and hasn't gotten any touches really all year. So a disappointing end for the offense because, like I said, there was so much potential here. the missed win, the bad positioning of the pieces, just going for the win instead of trying to stick with what you know can get you the tie. The fact that Borregales never even got to see the field to try and tie this game up for the last 2 possessions that we have, that's the real travesty here. And that's not blaming any particular player. You got to blame the coach on that one. You need to put your players, including your kicker, in a position to at least tie the game for you, send it to overtime, make something happen. And we put it all on Kosi, and he wasn't able to make it happen. We put it all on Pope. And to this day, I still put it on Pope. But we knew who he was coming in. We knew earlier in the game that wasn't working well. I mean, you just got to do better this year. So, quick peek at the we ended up right on target. We ended up with more yards. We ended up with everything that we wanted. We just didn't end up with the win. So that's the difference here. We need to do better this year. And I think that we will. So with all that said, as painful as this was, it'll probably be more painful next week. So I'm going over the defense, but you'll be able to see kind of the breakdown as we do this. And this is really just the warm up for when we get into the season. I'll be doing this for Bama. I'll be doing this for every game that we play this year, good, bad, and ugly. So until then, Canes fan, have a great week and go Canes, and we'll see you next time.